I was there in spirit. We watched Lost last night, and we made it to season 4, episode 5. That's The Constant. Many people consider it the best sitcom single show of all time.
Lost with the worst ending.
Huh?
It's like the best show with the worst ending.
I'm not talking about the whole series. I'm talking about season 4, episode 5, The Constant.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Welcome in to, we're going to call this episode 3 of this Just Buzzing Through series that we're putting together. Okay. So I've been, for those of you who this is the first time you're catching this, Sam and I from the Beehive, he has tasked me with helping him put together a little documentation of when people come through his shop, guest artists. You know, we've had a guy from Fargo, a piercer, come down and guest at the shop. So as he gets out and does some more stuff and meets people in the industry, as people come to the Beehive to get, you know, guest spot or whatever, collaborate, we want to be able to document that stuff. We want to be able to share stories of all these cool artists because everybody has such a unique story. It seems like even more so than any other industry, tattoo artists have such unique stories behind them. So we're here this weekend at the Euphoric Ink Art Show, the 3rd annual. So I'm really excited to be here with Cole to kind of talk about the show a little bit. Give us a little rundown of what's going on here.
Yeah, thanks, Jacob. So my name is Cole Erie. I'm the event director at Leighton Media. As Jacob said, this is the 3rd year of the Euphoric Ink Art Show, but the 1st year that we are downtown St. Cloud. So really excited about this year's event. We got twice as many artists as we've had in the past, and I feel like we're kind of getting worked into the tattoo industry with a good name for a show, and I'm really excited about that. So it's a 3-day event, and that includes access to the show. We got live tattooing going on all day. A lot of the artists bring in art displays as well. Many of these artists don't only do tattoo, they do a lot of custom artwork as well, which can be anything from painting to, I mean, it's art. There's a lot of crazy different subjective ways, you know.
Got 30 artists.
Yes.
30 artists in there. Last night we had a wide variety of things going on. I mean, we had everything from a blackout sleeve going on to some really, really cool black and gray stuff. Sam put together a really, really cool fishing lure color piece and some other just really, really cool pieces last night. So I'm excited to see what today has to hold because these guys have 13 hours to work today if they want to. Yep. So I'm sure we're going to see some really, really cool pieces come out of it. I am by no means a tattoo expert. I just really enjoy facilitating these conversations. So I'm excited to get in and meet some of these people, talk with some of these people I met last night a little bit. So Cole, thank you very much. I might grab you again this weekend, but thank you very much, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. We're here, Sammy.
We're here.
What do you know about the Euphoric Ink and Art Tattoo Show so far?
It's been
Ink and Art Show.
It's been great so far. It's been a lot of people have been coming through. It's been fun. A lot of fun pieces.
Yeah, you knocked out a piece last night. There wasn't a ton of entries into the color category for Tattoo of the Day, but you did win Tattoo of the Day last night.
We did. That was super fun.
So what was that piece all about?
He's getting a full sleeve of like fishing lures. He just came to the shop with an idea for just a fishing lure sleeve, and we've just been piecing it together.
Cool. So I'm excited. I got to talk to Cole out there in the lobby. Obviously, I work for Leighton Media, so this is kind of cool. This is like a company event for me, but I'm certainly not here representing Leighton this weekend. I'm here with you, which is a lot of fun. So it's kind of cool how this came together. This is your first time at this show, the 3rd year of this show happening. Lots of new artists around here that you don't know.
Yes.
So
which is good.
This is really good. That's what this is all about, is getting out and meeting people.
Or like we were saying last night, it means I'm getting old.
It means you're getting old, probably. Cool. So you got the boxing cactus.
Yep.
This man, you were a legendary boxer or what?
He was. I was telling him last night about your.
So you got lots of Golden Gloves and all that stuff back as a kid. And now we've got a boxing cactus going up today. So I'm excited to see what comes of this on the calf. So maybe we'll come back this afternoon.
It was just a fun drawing, random drawing. Chad saw it, fit him well. Now he's here getting it.
Hell yeah.
We'll
I'm going to get around and chat with some other people. Maybe I'll meet some more people for you.
Right on. That sounds good.
All right. I am now here we got Harvey Rodriguez. You are, if I remember, was it Sartell or no?
I'm in Spicer.
Spicer. I knew it was an
Spicer,
S. Okay,
where it's nicer.
Spicer, where it's nicer. All right, Harvey. Well, I'm super excited. Thanks for sitting down and chatting here.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to get to know as many of these people as possible. Obviously, got to talk with you a little bit last night.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about your background. How'd you get into tattooing? You're a tradesman.
Got into tattooing because went to Wilmer to do some construction for a buddy of mine. Well, at the same time that I was doing work for him, we ended up going to his shop, which he had a tattoo shop.
Okay.
I ended up started doing a little bit of work, and he's like, that night we went out to eat or whatever, and I was like, hey, let's go get dinner or whatever. When he brought up did you used to do tattoos? I'm like, yeah, I did. I used to,
Like 10 minutes.
12 years ago. He's like, so what would you think if I was like, I don't know, man. That's kind of far, you know what I mean? I'm not thinking about tattooing. I'm thinking about construction, opening up a construction business, you know what I mean? And that's how it all unfolded, man.
So you were doing work on a tattoo shop?
I was just doing it on the side, just at home, friends, family.
Okay.
The good old stuff.
And then the transition out of construction into tattooing was, what did that look like for you? Obviously, you got an apprenticeship. How old are you? How old were you when
I
you
was
got your
actually
apprenticeship?
40.
40 when you got your apprenticeship.
Yes.
Wow. Late. So it's never too late.
Never too late,
Never
man.
too
That's all.
late to
You
get
just got to
into
have
it.
the heart and the drive and everything for it, man. I mean,
Interesting.
And I completely left what I was building to tattooing like complete. I didn't transition to let me finish these jobs and do, you know what I mean? And
You just pulled the plug and started one thing.
Yes.
And you had a family?
Yes.
So it must have been
four kids and a woman.
It must have been a risk or like a leap of faith into
I honestly
that
didn't
world,
even think about it, but I should have probably. It was honestly, yes.
Yeah.
Like just exactly like you explained it. It's just so when I used to tattoo back then, I really wanted to be a tattoo artist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I really wanted it like bad. But every shop that I'd go to, they'd turn me down. Like, nope, I don't got time for this, or nope. Everywhere I went, you know what I mean? It didn't even matter. You know how to draw, you know how to do it. It doesn't matter. I don't have time for that.
Huh.
Like, okay. Well, anyway, this is what I wanted to do, man. I did it throughout time here and there.
Our camera's going there. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
You're good.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
we did it throughout time, you know what I mean? Like I did tattoos here and there for friends and like family. Like I said, after that, when I was in Mankato for like 10 years, 12 years. And so, yeah, I kind of lost it towards I'm not going to lie, for like, before I started tattooing, probably like 5 years before that, I was like, I'm done. I'm not tattooing anymore.
Okay. But you had every artist kind of has obviously an art style or art inspiration through their youth and all of that. So I guess you have, I don't want to say what kind of style you have, but maybe I'll let you explain that a little bit, like your tattoo style and your art style.
I think I'm all over with it. I like doing it. I have a different variety.
Okay.
I don't have just one style.
Okay.
I haven't stuck to one style. I used to, I started at traditional, was one of my favorites to do back then. But as of now, I like to get a little bit into everything, but I do like some Japanese art. I really do like that.
Awesome.
That's one of my passions.
Awesome. So your shop in Spicer, how long has that been open for?
It's been open for 3 months now.
Okay.
Going on 3 months. Yes.
So you just opened your own shop?
Just opened it up. Yeah.
Wow. And what's the name of it?
The Ink Parlor.
The Ink Parlor
Yes,
in
sir.
Spicer,
In
Minnesota.
Spicer, Minnesota. Yeah.
And is it just you? You got some other artists working with you?
Just me alone right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, what's on the docket this weekend? What have you been working on? What did you work on last night? What are you working on
Last
today?
night I did a few little small things, and I did some flowers, a bee, kind of like floral type thing.
Okay.
Kind of semi-realism, not really though.
Cool.
But yeah, just some little small stuff.
Awesome.
People walking up and wanting little tattoos, I guess.
Yep. And you got some people coming in today.
I do.
You said some young guys that maybe are probably partied a little too late last night, so you don't know when they're going to show up.
Yeah, they'd be bleeding everywhere.
No, it's a cool thing. I'm excited to get around and meet some new people. So thanks a lot. I'll come back and check in with you maybe at some point later this weekend.
Sir.
But yeah, nice to meet you.
All right, brother. Thank you.
So what do we have here? What is the name of this place here? Alchemy?
No, it's
Alchemia?
the Brook.
The Brook.
Yeah.
Okay.
The aftercare that we make is called Alchemia.
Oh, you guys make aftercare as well as run a shop and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you guys based out of?
Hastings.
Hastings. And your name is?
Jimbo.
Jeff?
Jimbo.
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 Okay, and you are?
Carly.
Carly. And I met you guys a little bit yesterday, briefly. You were working on a gnarly blackout sleeve. That guy looked like he was would rather choose death over being in that chair.
Yeah,
So,
he was going through it.
so that's something. Is that something you do a decent amount of? Like,
Yeah, we do them
some of
every
that stuff?
week.
Every week.
Yeah, at least every week. Yeah.
Dang. Is that?
Blackouts is starting to get one of those things that is getting bigger and bigger, I think.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Is there a? I guess are you blacked out? You got a blackout sleeve?
Yeah,
Yep.
blackout sleeve.
Is that
back.
usually start with like a work that you just kind of want covered up at some point, or is it like the sensation of having like that much pain going on in your arm, or what is the
it's not
drive
like,
behind it?
It's not like a fascination with pain or anything
Okay.
like that. At least not for me. But I think for a lot of people, it's just different. I don't know. Some people do it to cover up. Some people do it just to do it. Like I've done a lot of blackouts where people don't have any tattoos on their arms.
Okay.
It's just a blank arm, but they want to black it out.
Wow.
They just go straight to blackouts.
Wow.
And that happens often.
So you obviously do those. Talk to me about this style here, this black and gray with a little red mixed in.
Yeah, trash polka.
Trash polka.
Yeah.
So tell me about that a little bit.
I've been doing that for like the last 5 years, 5 or 6 years.
How long have you been in the industry for?
Since 2007.
Since 2007. Running your own shop?
No, I've been running my own shop for 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I always worked somewhere else until then.
Did you have a career before tattooing?
Yeah, I worked Tesla. I worked at Tesla for like 5 years.
What'd you do for Tesla?
I did a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I had like 7 different positions there.
What?
Yeah.
Dang.
So I traveled with them. I worked with them in California, and then I worked with them here in Minnesota, and then did some traveling for them.
Wow.
And then finally, towards the end of COVID, I just wanted a tattoo full time.
Good for you. Wow. So that's interesting. So you worked for Tesla.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then you're just getting started tattooing? Okay. So you guys are together.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. And so is she like apprentice? Or is she out of the apprenticeship stage?
Kind of. I mean, I feel like as a tattoo artist, you're always an apprentice. You know?
I like that.
You're always an apprentice.
If you're a good one, you are.
Yeah.
If you're a good one, you are. That's why you come to these conventions, collaborate with people. Absolutely learn from people. So I love that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share about your shop or your operation at all?
Not really. Just we're located in Hastings, and we do lots of black work, abstract stuff,
Awesome.
trash polka, and make the aftercare. The aftercare is specifically tailored to like blackouts, but you could use it for anything.
Okay, cool. Wow, awesome. Super cool. Glad I got to talk to you about this kind of niche. It's sort of a niche within the tattoo world. So it's really cool. I like that.
Not a lot of people do it.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. I'll come back and see if you're punishing anybody else later this afternoon, man.
Yeah, we're doing a chess piece later.
A chess piece later.
Yeah, we should be doing it together. So.
Okay, cool, guys. Cool. That looks cool. I'll come back and check that out.
Cool.
So cool. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, we are now here with Anthony from Reborn Tattoo Care. So you are an aftercare company.
Yep.
Is that strictly aftercare? Do you do, talk about that world a little bit.
Yeah. So we have products for aftercare for clients, for the healing process, for, maintaining their tattoos after they're healed. People use it as a moisturizer. And we also have different products that tattooers use during the process.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So Anthony, I got hooked up with you through Sam. He's one of your guys' family artists or whatever. Recently, I think kind of came on this Reborn family tattoo thing. I'm not sure too much about that. We're going to find out more about it in a few weeks. You're going to actually come into the Beehive with Justin Udell, another artist of yours or another part of this artist family. And he's been on the show before too. So we're going to get him back in and get you in and get the full story. But give me like the Cliff Notes version of Reborn, just like the elevator pitch of where you came from, what you are.
To be honest, I started making stuff to use to heal my own tattoos. It worked so well that I had others try it. It kind of caught on by word of mouth. And COVID happened, and I took a chance on it, and it's become bigger than I ever dreamed. And it's just cool. I have artists all over the country, artists in Canada. It's something that just, started at home, and obviously it's not at home anymore, but it's just blossomed into something pretty amazing, and aside from a couple of things, everything is organic, and I really do the best I can to give people, the best materials to use.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear more of your story. I want to kind of tease it, but come back and get Anthony's full story about how this company came to be, because it's really, really cool. And obviously you scaled very large in a very short amount of time as far as, moving products internationally and all that stuff. So I'm excited to hear that story. I'm excited to hear how it came to be. Have fun the rest of the weekend here. You're doing aftercare packages for the winners of Tattoo of the Day and the artists as well. So that's cool. People will get some Reborn aftercare products if they come away with an award this weekend. So thanks for your time, and we'll catch up later this weekend or in a few weeks.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So Trisley Adams does have a beard. Trisley Adams does have a beard.
I'm glad you get the reference.
I love it, man. I'm really excited. What's your full name?
Christopher Bergson.
Christopher Bergson. And where are you from?
From the St. Cloud area right now. I work out of a shop right in Clearwater, so like 10, 12 minutes away.
Okay, awesome. Yep. You have your own shop? You work for somebody else?
I work for somebody else.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. We got the Reborn guy next door here.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your background, how you got in the industry, how long you've been doing it.
Okay. So far I've been tattooing. I just passed my 7 years, like in mid-March. Feels like an eternity, but it's not that long of a time, really. I started back in South Dakota, just kind of got my foot into the right door, and it was kind of right place, right time sort of thing for me. I was just getting tattooed by a guy a lot, and one day he offered me an apprenticeship, and I'm just like, well, fuck, like it's a no-brainer. I got to take that. But at the time, I was like 21, 22.
Okay, so you got into it relatively young.
Yeah. So like I was like 21, 22, so I figured like it's worth it now to take such a drastic thing in my life and see if it pans out, because I can always bounce back from it being so young. So.
Oh yeah. So then, have you hopped around to some different shops? Have you been in the same shop the whole time, or?
I started at a shop out in Watertown, South Dakota, and I did my apprenticeship there. I worked for them for about 2 years, and then in that time I had met my now wife, and we decided to move out to Minnesota. So I was working at a shop out in Elk River called Subjective Art. I was out there for about 3 years. And then my wife and I bought a house in St. Cloud, and that's when I moved over to Tradesman Tattoo.
Okay.
Is because the trek from St. Cloud to Elk River is like 45 minutes one way. So I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to be doing that. So.
How did you get involved in this? It's your first year at the Euphoric Ink Art Show here. Talking about kind of how you got involved with it.
I mean, they've been contacting me to work this show the last few years, but it's always just been a conflict of schedule.
Okay.
And Anthony over at Reborn had hit me up like a month ago.
With our camera here.
Yeah, had hit me up like a month ago and asked me if I'd like to come work the show with them, and I was just like, absolutely, because I live a mile away. This doesn't take a whole lot out of my time.
Yep.
And I just had a kid not too long ago, so it's really hard to find a time commitment to do like a whole lot of traveling.
Yeah.
So this was like the one show where I'm just like, it's right in my backyard. I can still spend time with my kiddo. I can still sleep in my own bed, so why wouldn't I do it?
Absolutely. So what have you been working on? This weekend?
I've just been doing a lot of just small bangers, the get what you get. I got the get what you hit dartboard.
So let's talk about this. This. I don't know if you can see it in the frame here, but there's a vending machine, like a remnants of being a child, playing a game and getting what you get out of this machine. Yeah. But you're opening up this container and you're getting whatever's inside. Yep. That's the rules.
Yep, that's the rules.
And you pay $100, and if you don't want to get it, you're paying $100.
Yeah.
You spun the thing. You take the chance to do it. Yep. It's very unique. You got a dartboard here you can throw out as well.
Yep.
I kind of want to play the get what you get.
Well, then you absolutely should, yeah.
But I just, we'll see. We'll see how I feel about
it. The number one thing that people always are worried about with the get what you get is like, they're just like, what if it's something inappropriate? Like, what if I get a dick? It's just like, there's no dicks in the get what you get. I can promise you that. Like, there's nothing offensive. It's all just fun, like, it's all flashbangers, It's all cool stuff from like Sailor Jerry, Burt Grimm, just some of the old school guys.
Okay, cool.
Well, it's similar to the stuff that's on the Get What You Hit dartboard too.
I love it. Okay, yeah. I love it. Well, thank you very much for your time here. I'm going to let you get back to work here, talk to some people. I'm going to go talk to some more people as well.
Sounds good, man.
If I come back, I'm thinking that if I want to get a tattoo, I think there's you got to have the experience like throwing a dart.
Oh, absolutely.
Spinning the vending machine.
Yeah, it's a whole experience.
So
man.
maybe I'll be back to see you. Maybe I'll be back to see if I can sack up and get the courage to come and spin the wheel.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I am here with the guys from Rocket Up Tattoo. This is pretty exciting. I met you guys last night. Really, really, really good people. I didn't get a chance to meet you yet.
I'm Adrian.
Adrian, Jacob.
Nice
to meet you. And introduce yourselves here.
I'm Justin.
Justin.
My name's Andy.
Andy. So you guys are co-owners in this operation?
Yes.
Yep.
And you started the shop?
I started the brand.
The brand.
The brand of the shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, a little bit about your background, because you're the only artist of the three.
Yep.
You guys are more business-oriented, run the marketing and the business and all that stuff. Okay, so
in 1992, so that's the year I was born. So my background, a lot of from my high school, middle school to high school, graffiti background, a lot with my friends. Took a lot of labor jobs that I didn't want to do no more. And then art kind of like, I went invest myself more into art and went all out. And then created a whole team, the whole brand.
Where are you from?
I'm actually from LA.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah,
so
Los
that's
Angeles,
cool.
yeah.
Is that where you started tattooing? Is that where you started working?
I pretty much started tattooing my friends. Started messing them up over there.
Okay.
I left them and I came over here.
So how does a guy from LA end up opening a shop in Sartell? Because you're in Sartell, right?
Yes, actually, I just sacrificed pretty much a lot of stuff. I came out here. I was working for Blender Energy, windmills and solar panels. I didn't want to do it no more. And I was just all like, man, I just want to go all out with this.
Took a chance on yourself.
On myself, pretty much save some paychecks and just start telling everybody that I quit my job and I'm just tattooing now.
You committed full time.
So did you guys then come into the picture right away at the start of Rocket Up? Did you guys come in after?
Go ahead.
Pretty much like right when he
just
started doing all that is when I got my first tattoo. If I get my sleeve up by him, this forearm tattoo. Got to be about 8 years ago now.
8 years ago,
8 years ago. Vision, then we pretty much been very close ever since.
So as soon as he started tattooing, it was just honestly it's hard to date who actually made us all mutual friends. When somebody got tatted by Adrian and we heard about him and then we met him and we loved his work and we loved everything that he was about and that's why we stuck with him. The first time that I got tatted
you don't
by
gotta
him,
like to the guy. Right?
the first time I got tatted by him, I mean, it was I was used to going to a full shop and stuff, and Adrian was a different experience. And
So Rocket Up was kind of a small operation that you were doing on your own at first.
In my room.
Oh yeah, when I first
my
got tatted
room.
by him, it was in his spare bedroom in his apartment.
Okay.
He was just hooking people up, trying to get his name out there. And,
Gotcha.
And even back in the day, though, when we first started, Adrian already had a client base. His work speaks for itself.
Okay. What's your style?
So my style will be more black and gray.
Black and gray.
Realism.
Realism. Okay.
Landscapes, statues, and
cool.
et cetera stuff.
Cool. What did you work on last night?
Last night I actually did Baby Yoda.
Oh, I gotta see that. That's cool. I'll check that after this interview.
Baby Yoda, but there's a name for him. Grego or something like that.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So a lot of black and gray realism.
Realism.
Cool.
I do like to do a lot of movie scenes. Movie scene capture the picture,
Sweet.
That's why I like a lot of highlights.
Friday the 13th stuff and stuff.
That's a cool niche, cool style.
Realism,
Yeah, I
anything
like
realism, I really try to go all out.
So,
I like the stonework too.
Pretty much.
So the business startup then, would you have been able to do it without the business guys?
No, I wouldn't. no, I wouldn't. But there is an ME in team.
And you guys have now a pretty big team. I think you guys have the most. Fresh Skin has a bunch of artists here too, but you guys have the most artists for sure here. How many do you guys have? 7, 8, 7 of you? Is that all of your artists?
We actually there's more artists coming.
There's more artists
for the new shop coming.
So you guys are currently, as you mentioned, a new shop. You guys are currently located in Sartell, but you are moving into downtown St. Cloud here, just next to the convention center.
Right across the street.
Walking street from it.
Okay.
We could go check out the shop after this.
Awesome. And then, so what does that look like as far as the time frame for your guys' transition here?
We're planning around like April 15th.
Yeah,
Trying to get
about
it
mid-April, so it's going to take us a little. We have yet to get the health department come in and
It's
walk
mainly
in
the
through
health
everything.
department.
Yeah, we're not waiting on
So
them.
the setup for the shop is different than what we have right now. So there's just like old exposed bricks, and we just need to make sure everything's compliant so that like they're worried about like blood and pathogens and stuff.
So any like non-porous surfaces, we should be, like you said, the brick and the floors, make sure it's all ready to go and up to code. And
Just making sure it's compliant.
Yeah,
But the nice thing too, though, being at the convention here, was we had the opportunity to talk to Sorry, we don't remember her name, but her name's the lady from
a lot of names.
Yeah, the lady from the health department, and we showed her pictures, showed her everything, how the shop's gonna be laid up, and she was willing to work with us and tell us exactly what we need to do to get the shop set up. So
like
it's
a little pre-screening.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
Yeah,
that,
she's great.
She's good intel before we start making bigger moves, bigger investments that we might not need. So she's all like, you know what?
Yeah, she's trying
to save us some money.
She literally told us, she said, don't put, because we had plans to do stuff to the floors, to do stuff to the walls so we could get it ready. And she said, do not put any money into it until our team looks at it. So we uploaded a bunch of pictures of the new studio for her to look over. And then she said on Monday, the entire team, they have a all staff meeting. They're going to go through and they're going to look at our case, our application, and look through the pictures and see.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So
it's a pretty big blessing that way too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what else is on the agenda for the weekend? You guys are doing a bunch of walk-in tattoos here.
Yeah.
You're grabbing a bunch of walk-ins.
Yeah,
are you doing walk-ins, or you just you got some bigger projects lined up?
I got appointments already kind of for every day. But I'm open times. I'll try to get people in.
Cool.
Yeah, everybody's like 2 little butterflies right now.
Everybody's pretty booked out for the most part already after the first day. But obviously, like there will be, like you said, some like cracks in between
and cancellations and stuff. You know, sometimes people don't.
You guys been at this Euphoric Ink and Art Show all 3 years?
So not all 3 years. We were at the second one. We went last year when it was at the business center. That's connected to
much better location here. Huh?
Yeah, we like it a lot more. It's bigger. The ceilings are higher. There's no carpet, and it just this location for sure is a lot better.
Awesome.
And people know about this location. Like everyone's familiar with the Riverside Convention
It's cool to be in the expo that is growing.
Yeah.
When you're growing with it, you start seeing all these changes, and you learn the whole thing.
Heck
too,
yeah.
You know? So it's kind of ingrained the whole team because not everybody's experienced with the expos.
Right.
So now being part of it, now they're kind of seeing how to move with it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cole and Trevor are good people.
Oh, and
that's awesome. You know, they're really good promoters.
Yeah,
so.
that's the big thing too, is just making connections with people. Like that's what hanging out with Trevor and Cole. We got set up nice right here. I'll be honest, right at the entrance, and and being right next to Trevor and Cole, we got the chance to talk with them, and like we've been trying to help out with them with the convention, and like they've been very helpful with us as well too. So like we're very, very blessed to have the opportunity to be a part of this convention, because it is different, because you know a lot of the conventions in the area, they're in the cities, or they're like bigger conventions that are already established, and I respect what Leighton Broadcasting and what they're trying to do here.
Leighton Media.
Leighton Media.
What press is good press too.
Yeah, exactly. But what they're trying to do here, because at the end of the day, like they're trying to make something out of nothing, bringing a convention to this area where there is not already.
It's a silent for tattoo artists.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it is. And you're making us who have voices, you know.
Exactly, and just
that's for like networking in the area as
Absolutely.
well.
That's what I was gonna say.
And being like right next to them too, like that's helped us be able to like get a good in tune with everybody else here. You know, we've been able to walk around, really talk to everybody. Like these guys are saying, it's a really good springboard for future events in the area. You know, kind of bringing it more up to St. Cloud instead of it all being down in the cities.
That's the thing. The amount of people that we've met just in the last 2 days, like the amount of people we've had come up to our shop and be like, oh, like we didn't even know there was a shop in Sartell, or like Rock It Up, what is that? And like just networking with different artists. Like we've talked with shout out Neo Trash Nick, he does great work. We talked about doing a guest spot in our shop, and honestly, like we have kind of had the hookup because we got the printers and the everything. So we've had a few shops be like, "Hey, can we use your printer?" Like, yeah.
All right.
So we got the networking plus on that. So it's been a great experience.
It's cool to help everyone. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, if we could help, why not? We're all doing art. You feel me? That's
right.
This is the love of art. We all somehow in our point of our lives sacrifice to get to this point right now.
I love that, man.
Exactly.
So it's beautiful for me because I'm like, even if it's not even busy, just know that everybody's here.
Yeah.
The environment.
The environment, you know?
Yeah, and that's what we've always pushed at Rock It Up is that, tattoo shops can get competitive, especially when there's so many local. But our big thing at Rock It Up is that we want to push that it's all about the art. Like, we can have 20 different tattoo shops and everyone's giving out different prices. But at the end of the day, we want you to come out with a good tattoo and like we want you to have a great experience. Like I will 100% vouch for every single person that works for our team 100%. And say that they're amazing people and they always at the end of the day have the best interest for the client. And I think that's why I think we stand out a little bit, but that's why I think we do good for ourselves is because at the end of the day we're always about the people that come into the shop having the best experience. That is what we're about.
Like the general environment in the studio. It's kind of like a leave the politics at the door situation. Everybody's welcome, come in and have a good time, mutual respect.
Team, look, I just do the art. Like,
I love it. No, you guys got a good team.
You got
a good team, and I was talking to Sam a little bit from the Beehive about sort of scaling and what that looks like to scale a shop. And not all artists, often artists aren't business acumen minded people. A lot of times, if they can just focus on the art and they can just do their thing, then that's how you're able to scale to all of a sudden you have a shop with 7 artists or 8 artists and multiple apprentices and a new location. So there is that inflection point between being an artist who runs his own business and having people come in. So it's an interesting perspective. I appreciate your guys' time and sharing that story.
It's hard to wear 7 hats,
right.
So
I do want you to come to the new shop, though.
We'll have to come check it out.
And we could do an interview on the rooftop.
We could,
okay.
We got
I will say that I will get a full interview with you guys at some point in the new location. I'll bring my full setup. I just got my travel setup here, but I'll bring my full studio setup or have you guys come into the Beehive. The name of this series I'm doing with Sam here is Just Buzzing Through. So it's all about
I like that name.
It's all about just buzzing through, conventions, maybe guest artists, maybe he'll go do some guest spots at some other shops and I'll come follow him and travel with him a little bit, but I'll definitely talk with you guys again. This won't be the last time I talk with the guys from Rock It Up. So, thank you guys very much, man.
Thanks for having us, bro. We appreciate it.
All right. I got Ryan Shep with Cream City Tattoo. Just like you're probably one of the closest shops to the convention here.
Yeah, logistically, we are 1 block away.
You are 1 block away. Yeah. Awesome. I just talked to the other guys, some guys that Rock It Up. Sounds like they're kind of moving into this area maybe as well here coming up. I'm not sure. They got a location.
That was news to us. Yeah, we just heard that last night too. It's crazy.
Awesome.
Made downtown look a little too cool, I think.
Made downtown look a little too cool. Well, me being a guy who's walking around doing interviews with people, I see this guy and I'm like, okay, this guy has got some body mutations going on. This is somebody I got to talk to. Yeah. I got to hear the story here. So, before we get to that, I'm going to ask about that. Ask about the horns or whatever we got growing out of the top of your head here. Yeah. But I want to hear the story of Cream City first. How did this come to be? What's your background?
I started tattooing in 1998 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and transplanted here on my birthday in 2006. So I worked for another tattoo shop in town. I came here to work for them. They needed help. And never really thought I'd leave Milwaukee, so I was kind of homesick even moving here. But things weren't what they were cracked up to be back home. There was problems in the industry back then. There wasn't very many cool shops to work at. So like the story kind of goes like that. There was a couple cool shops and everything's got its highs and lows, and I just had enough. I had a problem with my kid's mom at the time, and I'm like, you know what? I could just flush the toilet. I know of a shop here that needs help. Maybe I'll just go to St. Cloud for 2 years and run it out and see how it goes and maybe move back someday. Awesome. So that brought me here. And then I worked for that shop for 6 years. Time flies by and you're having fun, right? And then finally it just hit me that I wanted to open my own shop. So in 2012, I wanted to grow to a point where I wanted to have apprentices, finally teach the craft to a place that would benefit me, not just a shop that didn't have any room for it. And then get into more of the art scene downtown. So yeah, what was it? June of 2012, I opened up Cream City. And the reason I even named it that is because I'm so homesick. It follows the tradition of the late 1800s in Milwaukee. You can't go anywhere without seeing cream colored brick buildings. Like if you were to walk out our door here, you'll see the red carpet. That's actually built with Cream City bricks from Milwaukee. Oh. And I'm pretty sure my building is too that I rent. And some of the ones in the area. And like back then, they made so many bricks in Milwaukee that most of the other cities were like, we want that too. So they shipped them everywhere. That's why you see cream color bricks all over the United States.
I love that. I love a good story behind somebody's branding. That's always good.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really tracking with the math, but how long have you been in the industry then?
Since probably late 98, early 99. So yeah.
Wow, like 25.
Yeah, just over 25.
30 years. Wow. So what kind of styles do you work in? Are you a wide variety traditional guy?
I got in when you should have been good at almost everything, or like jack of all trades, master of none. So I grew up in a flash shop the first few years, and then I'd say by year 4 or 5, I was in a shop that was more easily able to grow into your style range. But I think early on in your career, you should take on the majority of what you're looking at, or what's asked of you, because it's all line work, it's all shading, it's all this, it's all that. Then once you get a clientele, you can maybe slim it down and stay busier with the stuff that you really like. But I have gradually gone from different styles, and some of it you can see in the artwork that I do still. Yeah. That I used to be a big, bold line color new school. How new school is new school anymore when it's illustrative stuff, you know, because new school's fucking 25, 30 years old now. So I used to be doing that. Everything big, purple and flames and just crazy shit. And now it's all like creative realism, black and gray. Cool. I don't know if it went like it just streamlined. I used to see different artists. I'd go to conventions myself as a younger artist and be like, his shit's badass. His stuff's badass too. And you'd see big color guys, big black and gray guys, and like, I want to be good at all of it. Well, then I finally just kind of narrowed it down to what I really felt passionate in, and that's pursuing the black and gray and getting it as smooth as I possibly can, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. You got different people. You got a lot of artists here. Do you have different people that specialize in different things at your shop? Try to keep a variety of artists?
Once I started to get other people in, I try to tell the new crowd that try to be good at lots of things and then narrow it down. And I almost have people narrow themselves down so quickly these days that they're pretty good with staying busy with that. But then I do give them that safety net. Like if you run out of business, you might want to expand your reach a little bit more and step out of your style range a little bit and take on some of that stuff that you can do but might not want to do. And that's where I fit it. Like I get all my emails throughout the month and pick and choose what suits me best, and sometimes you got to fire them off to other people, and I think it works. But I definitely came from the old days where it's like you better take everything that comes in the door.
Otherwise somebody else will, or like, you know, if you turn somebody away once, all of a sudden you've lost that customer forever. You know, they'll go to another shop, and whoever wants to take on their butterfly tattoo or whatever it is they want, you know. All right, let's talk about the horns, man.
Well, I started my journey as a body piercer and quickly got into tattooing because Milwaukee was weird, man. It was, I think, 1997 when there was if you're not familiar with Milwaukee is 750,000 people, and it's got its ass up against the lake. So you got 750,000 people like that. And in the Milwaukee County, the city of Milwaukee had an ordinance that you couldn't have any tattoo shops. And then when they lifted that ban, I think it was 97, tons of shops popped up. It was crazy. So there was not much quality control. I worked at a piercing place that I was able to get my foot in the door, making some body jewelry, piercing, and then all of a sudden they moved around. I got into their shop right as they moved around the corner to accommodate the tattooers. And then I saw what they were doing, And I'm like, I was artistic in high school. I love this stuff. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I can gravitate towards. So I was able to get my foot in the door doing that. So I started it all at the same time. And then shortly after that, when I probably got my first computer in maybe 2001 or 2, I got on bmezine.com. And I don't know if you're familiar with that. No. The creator of that actually just had his anniversary of passing just the other day. But this guy named Shannon created a body modification website for worldwide people. And you could go on there as a client, spectator, modifier, a tattooer, piercer, whatever. You could just be on it. It was like Facebook for body art modded people.
Interesting.
You had your page, and it was like old school MySpace even. You just make your page look and sound however you want. And I met some fantastic people around the world, and I started seeing implants. So I'm like, what the fuck is that? I mean, just how you did, like, dude, like this guy had a piece of body jewelry underneath his skin, and I'm like, I want to learn all about this shit. So I got into it that way. I ended up finding somebody that would come to my shop and implant me, and then I started to realize how you could do this, and I wanted to do it because realistically, as a body piercer, how many eyebrow piercings you want to do before you're sick of it, you know? So I wanted my tongue piercing stretched. I wanted to.
Do you have your lip split?
My tongue is split.
Your tongue is split? Oh, okay. Dang. Yeah. Okay. So you got into.
Don't knock the camera. That's our show promoter boner.
That's all right, Cole. We're good. So, did you say this is something that you do, or is this like a surgical procedure? You never got into doing those on other people. You just got that done on yourself. You did.
Yeah.
You would give these implants to other people.
Yeah.
Dang.
So
that was a service you offered.
Once I learned how to do it, I got implanted, and then I made tooling for it. I made the silicone implants. I made Teflon implants. I made all kinds of jewelry for implanted purposes, and that's actually how I came to work here, because the shop owner that I knew that offered me a job was one of the guys that actually was doing implants too, and he bought the tools that I had made. So then I come work here, and our tools are sitting in the same drawer.
Do you do that then at Cream City now?
No,
is that's not a service you guys offer?
No, I got lazy, and I just do this and tattoo now because I don't know. It's
piercings. You guys have piercings out of Cream City?
I don't.
No. Okay.
Because I retired piercing for me once I moved to St. Cloud. They wanted us to, Minnesota finally said, let's get everybody licensed, right? And they're like, do you want to be a piercer? Do you want to be a tattooer? Do you want to be a dual practitioner? I'm like, you know what? I could just be a tattooer from here on out.
Right.
I didn't check the box, and now I can't do piercings ever again. With all my knowledge for that shit, I was Wisconsin's probably most knowledgeable body piercer and modification artist, and I can't get a license here until I train under somebody else now.
Oh.
Yeah, I need like 300 hours or whatever body piercing again. So I'm like,
crazy. Dang.
Be done with it.
Interesting. So this isn't something that happens overnight. It's not a one-time procedure.
No.
All those horns. Are you trying to grow how big are you trying to get the horns, man?
This is it. I've had these. This blows people's minds.
Yeah.
I've had this size in my head for probably 17 years already.
Oh.
And my first ones were done in 2003, and they looked like little M&Ms underneath my skin. Just enough at a glance, you'd be like, do you have like something? And I'd have to explain, yeah, they're implants. And they were so small.
Dang.
And then get them bigger. And then I was worried because I wear motorcycle helmets. I'm a crazy lunatic on a motorcycle.
I was wondering about hats and helmets, yeah.
I'm like, I can only go so big before the helmet starts screwing up. And then I'm like, they're still not big enough. Let's go. And then I'd start carving the foam out of the helmets to fit.
So explain that, like, normal people don't do that. Like, normal people don't do that. So explain the uniqueness of your mind or the processing that you go through that, like, maybe your unique viewpoint or worldview on life that maybe leads you to want to do something like that.
For me, it was kind of like I said with the piercing. With tattooing, it's different because the sky's the limit, and it's today. I mean, you want to do a bigger, nicer tattoo, start drawing one today. But when you're a body piercer and your client base is getting tongue piercings and navel piercings and eyebrow piercings, what do you want next? Let's do something weird with your ear. Let's make a industrial bar, bend something up special. That's your end of the spectrum, or you're stretching somebody's ears out and getting them nice jewelry. It's like, okay, that's cool. Oh, you want your eyebrow pierced again? Snore. For me, it was like, I saw that next thing, body modification, holy shit, 3D implants. And I mean, I used to have the transdermal implants right here too. You can kind of see the scars.
A little bit of the scar.
So I could change the jewelry out there. Totally bad for wearing helmets.
Oh yeah.
It was terrible.
Huh.
But it was just going to the next level.
It was more about the physical and the malfunction and the newness of being different and taking things to the next level. There wasn't like any like people look at that and probably a lot of people assume there's some type of spiritual sense or meaning to that stuff. None of that stuff at all. Okay.
I literally decided on my horns within probably 15 minutes.
Okay.
And it is because of this. I mean, I'm in the land of the churchies. This is crazy, right? And this seriously upsets people's day so fucking bad. I've almost gotten a fight in a fucking grocery store because of it.
Yeah.
Like some guy yelling at me from the meat aisle. I'm like, holy shit, he's mad. It's Sunday. He's in his with his wife yelling at me because I got horns in my head.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wear a hat a lot because I just want to get on with my day. But you know, here we're at a convention. I'm doing a magic show. I don't care.
You're the magic guy.
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't realize you're doing the mat. Can you show us a trick here? You got cards in your hand. Can you show me a trick?
Yeah.
I don't know how well the camera can see it. We're a little far away from the camera.
If you had to pick a card out, what would you?
Ace of Spades.
You want the Ace of Spades. You don't want to change that or anything?
You think is there strategy in keeping the Ace of Spades or changing it?
I'll let you pick it because it really doesn't matter for this. Oh my God! You know what? This deck doesn't even have that.
Oh, then I win. I'll take any ace.
You win the award. You want any ace? We'll take that.
Give me the heart. Ace
so
of hearts.
I'm gonna make contrasting cards. I'm gonna use these kings right here. Slightly unfinished deck. So, well, I'm gonna use those, and you say stop at any time.
Stop.
Right there. Do you want me to keep going, or you want to?
I said stop.
Okay. Yep. Perfect. So put your card right there, and you're gonna remember when you see it, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna lose it in the deck, and you first picked the Ace of Spades, and now through all that mess, I was picking my cards. I actually forgot what card you picked.
Yeah.
It's
the Ace of Hearts.
Ace of Hearts? Yep. Okay. We're remembering the Ace of Hearts.
Yep.
I'm going to remember that. Okay. We're going to give the cards a couple cuts. Give them a shuffle.
Good shuffle.
Just like that. And you should be able to do the dealer thing, right? Because that way, if we had spread
them out, fan them out, like a dealer thing,
and the mirrors. So if I do this, my hands are empty. I got sleeves. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
And I need to be able to find your card in a very strange manner. So I'm going to use these cards to find your card. And what we're going to do is you hold the cards like this, like the dealer grip, just like that, like you're going to almost deal them, right? Do you feel anything happening with that? Like there's no way I can get to your card or whatever.
I don't feel anything happening here.
Right. Okay. I'm going to use these cards to wave them over there, over the top. Do you feel anything happening now?
No.
What if I go a little faster? Anything happening now?
Still nothing.
Do you see anything happening now?
I see that there's another card up top here. And there's my card. Ah, all right. Well, I might have had that one. I might have been able to track that one, but nonetheless, good. I'm excited to see some magic tonight, though. So we're going to see card tricks. We got some other props and stuff we're going to see for the show.
Yeah, I got my table here. I'm doing one of my favorite routines, the cups and balls. And
okay, so you're a musician. You're a body magician.
What's the difference between a musician and a magician?
Oh, did I say musician?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is the difference? It's a joke?
I don't take requests.
I don't take requests. I love it. Well, thank you very much for sharing the story. Anything else you want people to know about Cream City?
We're a pretty unique tattoo shop. When my claim to it is we're not just another tattoo shop. When I moved downtown St. Cloud, because the first shop I worked at was just outside our downtown city, the artful nature of our downtown. It's a few blocks away. They're still considered downtown, but we have an art crawl down here, and it goes from 5th Avenue to about 9th Avenue, and I wanted to be in here somewhere. And I also wanted to have an art gallery because I do a lot of this stuff and rotate artists and stuff like that. So most shops are just shop full of people, their toolboxes, their chairs, they're doing tattoos and nothing else. I mean, they do their tattoo, they go home. but we have an entire art gallery. So my shop is 4,500 square feet, and just over half of it is our art gallery. So you walk through the shop of the certain rooms. Everybody's got their own rooms down there, and then you walk to the back, which is another 2,000 square feet of gallery space, and then I have some other tattoo artist booths back there. So it's really like its own city of tattoo people down there. And then for the art crawls, we can have people down there and they peruse through, and it's not just a tattoo shop. It's actually like a
gives people something to do. Come hang out.
I sell art supplies there. Nobody else does that shit.
Cool.
I had to kind of pick different streets that you know I want to do things differently.
Yeah.
And then actually, as of recently, I just started this this St. Cloud arthub.com. We got flyers here, and what that is, I since I got connected to the local community and the local artists and all that stuff, I do meetings with them. I find other artists that are just outside the tattoo community, and there's always a typical phrase that they always come back on. My stuff's not getting seen. I don't know how to get out there. Tattooing's just out there, but artists that paint or they do photography or something, how do you get noticed? You know, if you look up local painters, you're screwed. You're never going to come up. Like, nobody's going to find your acrylic paintings that you're doing painting in your pajamas at home. Right. You know, but somebody might be really good at that, and they don't have a website, or maybe they got a small website. How are they going to get seen? And everybody always said, wouldn't it be cool if we could all just get found in one same spot? I'm like, fuck, like I could make this website in a couple days. So I finally did it, and I'm trying to grow the brand on it to get people on it. So you can look up, you click on artists or hosts. Hosts are another thing to where, like, let's say the insurance company down the street has wall space and they got a couple ducks and loon pictures that they could take down, and maybe they want artists to bring their stuff in for 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, rotate your shit.
So this is cool here. This is not just like, you know, necessarily this industry. You're talking artists, body art, hairstylists, photographers, graphic designers, woodworkers, jewelry makers, potters, upholstery, and performing artists. So this is a cool thing for a community, man.
Yeah.
Every community needs something like this. So I'm guessing people can put themselves on there or connect as a venue on there, it sounds like?
All they got to do is email me, and then it'll probably change in the future on how people get signed up for it, but they just email me their specs on what they want their listing to be. It's kind of like a modern day version of the...
And this is just out of the kindness of your heart?
Kind of. I mean, I do charge a fee for it.
Oh, there's a fee on it. Okay.
Yeah. So
for you, though.
It's $100 a year.
Okay.
And then I take care of the rest, and then you can always modify it. And then I did an accommodating Facebook page. So like every day or every other couple days, I'll take somebody's information, post about them, and give them a little that way.
Nice.
But yeah, it took a lot of effort to get it going. And I'm also, once I get this one on the move, I also got it set up to do the Minneapolis or Twin Cities, so MSP. And then might take it to Milwaukee too, just because hometown hero shit.
Cool, man.
But yeah, I think it's much needed because
you've got a lot going on. Holy cow! I don't know. You have like that's like a whole multiple careers and like projects and stuff you put together. So
isn't it funny these days when all the tattooers of the world are like, I'm too busy to do any art or anything. I just tattoo. Oh really? I bet you're watching seasons full of TV on Netflix too. Fuck you.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you very much. You got to remind me of your name one more time.
Ryan Shep.
Ryan Shep with Cream City Tattoo. So thanks a lot, man. I'll be around this weekend. Maybe I'll catch you again, and I'll see you around. For sure. Absolutely, man. He assured me this was okay here. So,
good, man. You're good.
Garrett Raudio, is that the name?
Raudio. Yep.
Raudio.
Yeah, it's Finnish.
It's Finnish. Yeah. Okay, I like that. We get the name of origin. That's what I'm into here. So you're working on this gentleman's armpit here. It looks like we got a skull going into the armpit. That looks awesome. We're with Black Coffin Tattoo. Is that the name of your shop?
Yep.
Okay. And where are you guys based out of?
We're in St. Paul.
In St. Paul.
Right in the middle of Minneapolis and St. Paul. So we've got pretty decent access to both cities.
Okay. And then is this your first year at Euphoric Ink Art Show?
Yep.
Awesome.
This is the first time.
A lot of first timers here this year.
Well, yeah, it's you know, to be honest, this is I do a lot of shows. This is a good little thing here. It's not too big where there's an oversaturation of artists versus clients. It's a pretty nice balance. I think if there's anybody here that's not working, It's because they don't want to. Honestly.
Yeah, it does seem like there's certainly enough walk-in traffic here to keep everybody busy. I want to say Cole said there was 30 artists that ended up here, and you walk around and pretty much everybody's working.
Yep.
Pretty much everybody's working. So talk to me a little bit about your style. Obviously, you're working on this like three-eyed skull thing right now. Is that kind of what you like to do? A lot of that like black and gray skull stuff?
Yeah, I'm really into skulls. I like they're universal, and they're also very malleable. And when I say that, what I mean is you can do almost anything to it, and it still looks like a cool skull. There's no such thing as too many skull tattoos. It's something that I guess people like that I do, so I'm going to keep doing that, and I enjoy doing them. So,
how long have you been doing this?
Tattooing for 25 years.
25 years.
Longer than I haven't been.
So how old are you?
I'll be 50 in a couple months.
So what was the startup of that career like for you?
Well, originally when I got into it, it was a much different world back then. My mentor, part of our job as an apprentice was to run to the library to check out a book, so that way he'd have a reference on how to draw dinosaurs. The internet wasn't as prevalent in tattoos.
You really sounded like a dinosaur here.
We were one of as far as I know, we were one of the first shops to have internet.
Whoa!
It was like you had, back in, a lot of people probably don't know or remember this, but you couldn't be on the phone and have internet at the same time. So
right, you were dial up, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah. So a lot of shops, they just didn't do it, because you want to keep them phone lines open and whatnot. But I convinced them to get the internet and showed them some stuff around Photoshop, and it was just a different world. Back then, you didn't have to know how to draw because everything was Flash. I mean, it helped, but it was picking off the wall. You were just doing Flash all day, so custom shops were still kind of just a new thing at that time.
And now it's almost so prevalent. That's like, it seems like everybody's got their style or got their niche or got their kind of like lane that they're in, or artists probably. But then again, it's talking to all these guys. The best ones are talking about how they crave a variety and they're happy to do any kind of tattoo.
Diversity is what right now, especially with the economy being what it does, diversity is the key. Being a diverse tattooer, I think honestly one of the biggest problems with a lot of the younger generation of tattooing is people are so quick to find a style. And let me preface that by saying style is nothing more than self-plagiarism. If you do it wrong long enough, it becomes your style. So one of the, you might be really cool at doing Asian dragons, but you'll never know because you never fucking tried one.
Wow.
Because you're too stuck doing, surreal or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things out there that a lot of people they don't give it a chance. They get comfortable and complacent, in my opinion. I personally don't think anybody should be specializing in anything until they're well-rounded enough, come around year 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Then figure it out. But that's just me. I mean, nobody cares.
No. So when did you make that transition to actually opening up this black coffin shop?
So again, it was
your career path,
a different
I guess.
world. So when I got into this, originally, I just wanted a fun job. I used to deal poker. I used to deal blackjack. I used to bartend. I was just looking for a fun job. Little did I know that this job would quickly become a life-changing career. And I just kind of ran with it. I've been a shop owner now. This will be year 20, of being a shop owner in some extent or form. I opened Black Coffin. This year will be 10 years in July.
Wow.
I have fun. I didn't create a shop to make money. I created a shop because I wanted to have a fun I want to have a fun place to work with my friends. And I think we have that. I don't know. I have a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, how many artists do you have working for you? How big is your operation?
There are 17 tattooers right now.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it's a big shop.
Wow.
Surprisingly, everyone gets along really good. Wow. At least in front of my face.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's a testament to have that many people that you manage. Do you have a business manager? Do you have someone that does that? You just run everything?
No, that's me.
So you tattoo, you run the business, and everything.
I do it all. I build the web page. I figure out the marketing. That's just my nature. Why would I pay somebody to do something when I know how I want it done?
Yep.
And all it takes me is, sitting down for a couple hours, maybe a week, figuring it out on YouTube. I know what I want, as far as, image and look and, shirt design and all this stuff. Website, I know how I want it to lay. So it's just easier for me to do it.
Yeah. What did you work on last night around here?
It was something spooky.
A ghost or a skull or something?
God damn it. It was a spooky girl.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. It took me a minute. I worked on a kind of like a spooky Coraline version of a gal's daughter.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So like that very much so is your like kind of spookier, darker stuff is kind of like you like to work on that sort of like those Halloween themed style black and gray tattoos. Cool.
That's the stuff I really get into. After 25 years, no offense to anyone with a rose tattoo, but I just don't have the passion for some of the stuff anymore. And
that's the idea of having a shop where you have 17 artists that like you can fill that niche or that void, or if someone wants to walk in, whatever they want, whatever they want, you got an artist to knock that out for them.
Yeah, everyone there does something a little different, and again, diverse, not only in an artist portfolio, but I believe in a studio. Diversity in the collective of artists, I think, is very important as well. We've got some of the younger gals doing the fine line tribal, the cyber sigilism that came back around and all that stuff. And there's room for everyone. I would much rather pass something off, either whether it's to me or to one of my artists, or even to a different artist at a shop, than tackle something that I want to make sure the client's happy. Right. And if I feel somebody else might be able to pull it off, I'll give it to them.
So you've got 17 artists in St. Paul. I'm sure there's got to be shops all over the place, tattoo shops all over the place in Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, there's such a dense population. I'm from Fergus Falls, so we have 14,000 people in our town. I think we have 10 artists in our whole town.
Yeah.
So definitely, you guys stay busy. Are all your guys busy? All 17 of them busy full time?
They're as busy as they want to be. We still get walk-ins every day. With this is a tattooer-oriented podcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can talk shop.
Yep.
We got some people that like to sit at home and pet their kitties, and then we got others that want to fucking hustle and they've got motor. That's, if you're not there, I always tell everyone, like, if you want to do a tattoo, like, you want to make money, then go to the shop. But you never know when something's going to come in. I guarantee you're not going to make money sitting at home playing Fortnite or whatever, you kind of got to be there, ever since 2020, the tattoo world has been seeing things that unprecedented. 21, 22 were the craziest years in tattooing that I've ever seen. And right now, a lot of people are freaking out because, the numbers went down and all that. We're just kind of getting back to normal, in my opinion. you know, a lot of younger tattooers came up in this 21, 22 era. So they came in at the height of tattooing. And now they're wondering, you know, what they're doing wrong or whatever. You're not doing anything wrong. The market's just kind of correcting itself. You know, this is the way it was before. You got to get your grind on. You got to have motor, or you're going to be bagging groceries. You know? And there's nothing wrong with bagging groceries.
Right.
Like, it's a fucking union job. They pay pretty good.
Right. I like that, man. I like that. Well, what else do you feel like you want to talk about here, whether it be your shop, your story, anything you want the people to know about what you got going on here this weekend?
You know, I don't know.
Well, you mentioned you like this. You mentioned you like this convention.
Yeah.
What sets it? Like, what's the feel that sets it? Makes it feel a little bit different than some other ones you've been to or been a part of.
It's a smaller hometown convention.
Right.
I honestly think this is going to shows like this. I believe are going to be the wave for a while. I see this as the way that the market is heading. I'm not going to drop any names or locations, but if any of you guys have ever been to a convention, say with 1,000 fucking booths,
there's an inflection point between, and this is with any event, right? Like, I'm not from the tattoo world, but you know, take like a home show for example. Like, there has to be an inflection point of artists and
clients,
traffic and clients, and like intimacy of conversation, and like you want to have interactive, intimate experiences with the guests and the artists at these shows. And when there's thousands and thousands of people, you just get lost in the shuffle of everything.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. You know, even a 200 artist show, you know, whatever. It's still a pretty big show, but some of these show promoters seem to just care more about selling the tickets and getting the booth rent, you know, because that's their bread and butter. But I think, you know, anytime you do a show, you really gotta do your homework on the promoter. And I ain't gonna lie, you know, this one was scary at first. You know, I don't know anyone here. Came from a referral from a friend of mine, and you know, it's scary. But I honestly believe that these are the shows like this. They're going to be the wave. You know. First of all, the whole idea behind a tattoo convention is to bring artists. First convention that was put on in 1975. Don Nolan and I don't even know. Down in Texas, the whole idea was it was a fest. It was a tattoo fest. You know, like it's like let's bring these artists to this area. It wasn't this fucking rock star bullshit that you see going on now at a lot of these shows. It's literally just, it's not about booking a 3-day fucking appointment so you can take home some fucking hardware and trophies. I mean, if that's what you're into, go for it. But a tattoo convention is literally just to bring people from outside of the area into this area and have fun doing it. You know, you get some new clients, get to hear some new stories and all that shit.
Yeah.
And shows like this are about that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, I've talked to almost everybody, not quite. I don't know if I'll get to talking with everybody, but it's super cool. Everybody has a super cool story. You have, you know, new people. You got 25-year vets. Certainly, you know, Sam, I'm here with Sam from the Beehive, and he says he doesn't know a lot of people here. You know, This is like a huge new networking experience for him. So even more so about the art. I mean, the guy from Cream City here, he's the owner of Cream City. He's not even tattooing this weekend. He's just out here meeting people. You know, that's really what it's about. It's about if there's a collaboration aspect, or maybe it'll lead to a future guest opportunity, or maybe just some insight from another artist about
absolutely
you know, anything. So.
You know, I was talking to an artist the other day, yesterday. You know, they asked, well, how do you make this profitable? How do you do this all the time? The fact of the matter is you don't. It doesn't have to make money to be profitable. There's other ways to be profitable, such as connections, finding those guest spots, meeting a different artist, or coming up with, you know, meeting someone that has a different approach, and just watching someone. So it's not always a monetary thing with these things. And honestly, if you're here for the money, you're going to be disappointed. I'm not saying there's not money here. What I'm saying is if that's all you're after, you want to make money, stay the fuck home. Don't go to a show. Why would your client want to spend fucking $150 on a hotel room for 2 nights fucking $30 in parking, $20, $30 to get in. You want to make money? Fucking stay home. I don't do these for money. That's just me.
It just leads to opportunity. Everything leads to opportunity, you know. And obviously, there's a certain amount of shuffling around that goes on in the tattoo industry too. Everybody's always moving shops. You know, there's stories all these guys have about. I worked at this shop, now I work at this shop. So networking, there's nothing that can replace networking in any industry, but certainly this one. So.
Yeah, some of this shit you don't get on Instagram.
Right, totally. So, well, again, your shop is the Black Coffin in St. Paul, Minnesota. So, you got to give me your name again. I'm so bad with names.
Garrett Radio.
Garrett Radio. So, stop in St. Paul and say hi to Garrett or one of his 17 artists, and I'm sure that someone will be able to accommodate the project that you're looking for. So
that's the idea.
That's the idea. Well, thanks a lot, Garrett. I appreciate your time, man. Have fun with the rest of the skull. How's that feel in the armpit there, by the way? It sucks. He hasn't even got up into the pit of it yet. That outline looks like it's going to be fun.
There's not a lot of shading up there, fortunately.
All right. I'm here with Sean New now.
Right, it's pronounced Nye.
Nye.
Nye. The English way to pronounce it's New. The German way to pronounce it's Nye, and I guess we go by the German way.
I love that. I love that. So we're here with It's Fresh Skin Tattoos.
Yep.
You guys are the title sponsor here this weekend at the Euphoric Ink Art Show, as well as you hold a license for the event itself.
That's correct.
Can you talk about that and how that kind of works to set up these events?
Yeah, so Layton Broadcasting,
Layton Media. Rebranded.
Oh, wow, I didn't say anything. I should probably pay attention a little more. So Layton Media, they actually, they're a couple blocks from the shop, and I had a couple cover-ups that I did for some of the employees there, and they started talking, and they came back and offered me, brought up the idea to bring a convention to St. Cloud that was local, that kept it local so we could showcase a lot of the artists in the area. And I loved the idea. That was one of my goals when I first opened my shop here. And so yeah, I got excited when they brought the opportunity to me, and I'm a guy that just loves to take a chance.
So you've been a part of this all 3 years?
Yes.
Since the beginning? You started this with Cole and Trevor?
Correct, yep.
Awesome.
Yep,
awesome.
Cole was, I don't know if you remember, Matt Wood used to work over at Layton. Anyway, I did a big cover up for him, and he brought the idea to me, and then Cole was the one that kind of got this thing rolling. So Cole and I sat down and brainstormed, and built this thing from the...
So how old are you?
36.
36. And how long have you been in the industry?
I started tattooing in 2017. So say 8 years, 7 years?
Okay.
8 years.
So what'd you do prior to that?
Actually, I tattooed while I was in the Marine Corps for 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was tattooing nights while I was in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
So
like overseas, or whatever, were you overseas with the machine?
I spent time. Actually, when I started tattooing, I was actually here in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I did. It was kind of one of those things too, where it's like I was drawing pictures on the side for people, like portraits. And one of my buddies, a Marine, was like, "You should try tattooing, man." And I'm like, "I didn't even think about that." It's like, yeah. So then I started practicing on myself and on fake skin, and eventually got an apprenticeship. And
where did you apprentice at?
There's a shop in Wapaton, North Dakota.
Okay.
Yep. So I took care of the reserve Marines that were in that area, and at night when I had downtime, I was able to focus on tattooing. So.
And then, how long did you work for that shop before you ended up starting your own, or was that the only shop you worked for prior to starting?
No, I tattooed there till about 2020, so 3 years. And then I tattooed in Wilmer, Minnesota for about a few months, just to get my license, because in North Dakota there's no reciprocity to Minnesota. So I had to start over with my apprenticeship. So anyways, I tattooed for about 8 weekends, or I tattooed 8 weekends to get my license here in Minnesota, and then opened shop. So 2020 is...
Okay.
July 2021 is when I opened up Fresh Skin Tattoos.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then how many artists you got? You got 4 here?
There's 4. Well, yeah, there's 4 here. And I have one that is also licensed in tattoos that's just not here this weekend. And then I got an apprentice as well.
Awesome.
So there'll be 6 total.
And your style is this art up here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can see it in the camera, but black and gray.
Yeah, you know, it's realism. What people kind of know me for is realism. So whether it's color, black and gray, I do realistic type stuff.
Nice.
Yep, try to make it look as real as possible sometimes, you know.
Love that. And then all your artists, they do different things?
Actually, we have a very good variety of styles in our shop. I mean, we cover everything. So whether it's traditional, illustrative, realism, you name it, we got it all.
Awesome.
Yep.
So where you guys are located, where at in town here, sorry?
Honestly, like 3 blocks downtown, but about 3 blocks away. So downtown St. Cloud, can't miss it.
Awesome. And what have you been working on this weekend specifically? I saw talking about this piece that you just finished up.
Oh yeah, so the Roman soldier, and he had it was, I don't know how to explain it, but had some strength and courage and some things in the background that was pretty cool. But yeah, realistic Roman soldier.
That's a really cool piece. I hope he is around for Tattoo of the Day. I don't know if he's going to stick around for it.
I don't enter those anymore,
You
man.
don't enter those anymore. No, that's a really cool piece.
I let the young guys handle or get the awards nowadays, and it means more to them than it does for me. So.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's a cool piece.
Thank you.
Anything else planned? Any other? I mean, did you have work lined up prior to this weekend? Kind of being a local.
I usually like to just do walk-ins at these things, but I actually accidentally got booked out. I just started saying yes to people, and eventually my whole weekend got booked. So it's a good problem to have.
Yep, absolutely.
But these things are fun, man. I like to just keep it light when I'm here, not to get too deep into the grind, and just embrace it and enjoy the moment a little bit. You know?
Absolutely. Cool.
So,
well, thank you for your time. Anything else you want the people to know, or anyone else to know about, like your shop? Maybe how they can get a hold of you, follow you.
Oh man, you know, on the socials, Fresh Skin Tattoos, and if you ever want to schedule on our website, we have a consult form. Fill that baby out. We'll reach out with a schedule. So
cool.
Too easy. Keep it simple.
I love it.
Yep. Hey.
Thank you very much, man.
Appreciate you. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, so we're here with. Is this Bullseye? Is that the name of the shop?
Bullseye.
Bullseye.
That's actually my nickname. So.
That's your nickname. Okay, and Andreas Cabrera.
That would be correct. Yes.
All right. So, what's the story? You're here. We're at the last day of the tattoo convention here. Is this your first year here?
At the Euphoric one, yes.
At the Euphoric.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So, where are you? Where's your shop based out of?
I'm located in Wilmer. Dedicated Soul Studio.
Okay, Dedicated Soul is the name of it. And do you own the shop?
No, my buddy, my homie Streets owns a shop there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how'd you get started in the tattoo world?
I mean, I've always been an artist. Like, ever since I was a kid, I've always been into art. So I actually had an older brother that was like a painter. He used to draw all the time, and that's what kind of got me into it. And he saw that I kind of had an interest in art, so kind of taught me like the basics of shading, drawing, and all that good stuff. And from there, I just kind of took it a step further and just kind of started practicing more. And then I tried tattooing one day when I was 15, and I fell in love with it, and I kind of got obsessed. So
So did you? How old are you?
I'm 27.
27. Okay,
Yeah.
and how long have you been doing this?
Professionally, 5 years.
5 years. Okay.
But I mean, I started when I was about 15. So, and yeah, I was every mom's worst nightmare. All my friends would come home sleeved up, and
when you guys were teenagers.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, as far as like being in the shop, I had asked my homie Streets for an apprenticeship back when I was 17, and he kind of told me, he's like, yeah, I got too much on my plate right now. I got 2 apprentices already, and so I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll take a step back, and maybe he'll consider me in the future. And then maybe about 5 years ago, I was working in a grocery store, and I got a message from him one day, and then he's like, hey, I know you've been wanting this for a while, what do you think about getting an apprenticeship? And at the time, I kind of had my life going a different direction because I had a baby on the way. I was going to have my daughter, and I was, like, I don't think, this would be a good idea, 'cause, like, I'm still into art and stuff, but I was always told there's no money in tattooing, like everybody else would tell me, like, nah, just go back to work, get a full-time job. There's no money in tattooing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to tell him, I'm like, hey, I got too much on my plate. I don't think it's a good idea. And then my wife told me, she's like, hey, just do it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So from there, you know, I'm like, you know what, I'll see how hear what he has to say, you know. So I spoke with him, and he's like, what if I told you that you can make what you make in a week at the grocery store in a day? And I'm like, well,
sign me up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sign me up.
You know, like this is what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been an artist, so when it came down to it, you know, it came a little natural. You know, there was some ups and downs. You know, obviously every tattoo artist gonna,
Yeah.
you know.
So I see some black and gray work. I see some color. You do a little bit of everything. Do you have a style that you kind of hone in on, or something that you like
Not
to do more of?
necessarily. I mean, I love doing black and gray. That's where my heart's at. But I do love doing color.
Yeah.
I don't like to be stuck in just like in a pot. You know, like there's a lot of people that just do like black and gray or just traditional color.
Mhm.
I don't like being stuck in there just because, you know, like you never know what's gonna walk down that door. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not do a little bit of everything? That way you can give people what they want. You know, instead
Yeah.
of like being trapped in a bubble. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Anything else you want to share about the shop, your art, anything else?
No, I mean, check me out, man. Dedicated Soul Studios, where I'm located. Bullseye's Ink on Instagram. Artwork by Andres Cabrera on Facebook. So catch me at the other conventions. I'll be there.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Very nice to meet you,
Nice
man.
to meet you, brother.
Probably, but I'm in town. Yeah, I'm at Old Town.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna bug you a little bit then while you're working. How's that sound?
That sounds all right.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, sir. You guys
So-
have a good one.
Seth Hines.
Yes.
All right. So this is your wife here on the table.
Yeah, it's Brandy.
Brandy. Nice. And what are we working on here?
Got a little deer skull with a kestrel on top.
Okay. And I saw. So talk to me about that piece you did the first night. What was that one? Was it a bear?
Oh,
was it a
yeah,
bear?
the bear.
It was
Yeah.
a bear. That
It
was
was
a
a-
cool piece.
Yeah, I've been tattooing that girl. I haven't seen her in 5 or 6 years, but I've been tattooing her for like 15 years or so.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for how long then?
19 years now.
How old are you?
I am 42.
42. Okay, so the math. I'm slow with math.
1983.
What's that?
March 16th, 1983.
Oh, well, I'm saying like when you started tattooing. The year you started tattooing.
March 16th. No. It was March. It would have been March of 05. But I didn't start that was when I started my apprenticeship.
Okay, and who did you apprentice with?
His name was Andrew, and that's good enough.
Awesome. So you're hooked up here at Old Town.
Yes.
I didn't quite get a chance to. I talked to Scotty a little bit. I'm going to get an interview with him in a little bit here. But so he started this shop?
Yeah, 2006.
In 2006.
We're actually, location of Old Town was the Rising Phoenix. That was Tom General's shop up till then. And man, he opened that shop up in the 90s, and it's one of the oldest shops in Minnesota. It was pretty sweet. And that dude was like a super rad tattooer that like traveled the world back when like conventions were few and far between.
Huh. So how did you get hooked? Like, where are you from originally?
I am from Dubuque, Iowa.
Dubuque, Iowa. And then what brings you? What paths did you take in life to bring you to here in St. Cloud?
Well, I can't tattoo and talk at the same time sometimes.
I'm sorry. This is distracting. We can do this
No,
later,
not at
too.
all. No, I'm just gonna stutter. I moved around a little bit, and then I ended up going back to Iowa, where I'm from, and wasn't really planning on moving there. And then saw Scotty had an opening at his shop. Was always a big fan of Scotty. I was very heavily influenced by him and stuff in my younger career. And I just said, fuck it, and messaged him and did a guest spot. Came out a few times, and then just started working out here.
Right on. And your style is what?
I like a lot of new school, little bit of neo, but I mean, I like traditional a lot too. My new school's definitely gone back to traditional roots a lot more. Definitely digging more actual line work and less of no line work.
Yeah, I'm not a tattoo guy at all, so like I I live in Sam's basement, so I've I've been underneath a tattoo shop for a couple years, so I get to see the client, like kind of the client artist relationship side of it, but I know nothing about tattoos, so it's certainly fun for me to hear and see all these different styles. I talked to the guys, yesterday who were doing that big blackout sleeve and stuff like that. There's just a wide variety of different styles that are happening this weekend. So
Blackouts one of those things you don't appreciate until you been tattooing and stuff longer. Like, well, maybe you appreciate it right away, but it's blackout's rad. I just think like when you're younger and you just see all the pictures and stuff, you just don't understand why would you want a blacked out arm, but I don't know, they're so satisfying.
Have you done them?
Yes. I blacked out Trevor at our shop's arm, or Andy's arm. I got a couple people who started blackouts,
started and decided they didn't want to finish it. That's funny.
I had a couple people start, I had a couple people finish, and then I got one girl, she's debating whether or not she wants to do white stuff on top of it, but I don't know. Now that I can do nice solid blackouts, they're so satisfying. But you do see a lot of people with blackout that's really not blackout, it's just gray out. Gray out's not as cool as blackout.
Yeah, I'd imagine it takes the right sick kind of soul to be able to sit through that and get that much crammed into their body,
Yeah,
but
it's a lot of pigment.
Have you been a part of this convention all 3 years it's been around?
This is my first time doing this convention.
It's your first time doing this one? Okay.
Yeah.
But you've done a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, man, I've actually slowed down on conventions quite a bit, but when I was younger, I didn't have family and kids and stuff to take care of and had a lot more free time. Time went by slower. Now I only do like 2 or 3 conventions a year, and it feels like I'm doing them every week.
Fair. This is my first one. I love it. I love the environment. I love, like I said, I love seeing and meeting all the different people, hearing all the different stories. There was a guy that worked for Tesla. We've got all kinds of stories for sure.
Tattooer that worked for Tesla?
Yeah, the guy who was doing the blackout sleeve yesterday worked for Tesla.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed it, but so heck yeah. Well, I'm
What's up, brah?
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of see. So, there's going to be color in this one or not?
Yes, sir.
There will be. Nice. Oh yeah.
It'll be deep in there.
It'll be deep in there.
You're gonna see it. All right.
Oh yeah.
Saturated as F.
So, how many different shops have you worked for, all in all?
Oh man, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 shops. And you've been with how long do you say you've been at Old Town?
I've been here for 10 years.
For 10 years. Okay. And you guys Scotty was kind of explaining to me how that shop kind of runs itself. You guys are all vets there. Like,
yeah,
everybody who's a part of that operation has been doing it for a long time. Nobody's teaching anybody. Like, I mean, obviously you guys are all teaching each other constantly, but like, no one needs their hand held in that operation at all. So it kind of is sort of a
autonomous.
Yep, an autonomous little thing there. So, well, that's cool. I'm excited. I don't know if I'll get a chance to get in and check out your shop, or what's the other one? Willow Creek? Is that what it's called?
Widow's Peak.
Widow's Peak. Okay, but I'm gonna hopefully get a chance to go check out that shop this afternoon here and see what's going on.
You can go to Widow's Peak and you can look at a bunch of skulls and religious paintings. Or you can come to Old Town and check out my sweet toy collection.
What kind of toys?
Got a lot of Monster. I mean, you want specifics? A lot of 80s and 90s retro toys. A decent amount of Cereal premiums back when you got toys in cereal boxes, not the
I feel
stuff
like
they have now.
every tattoo artist has something they collect. Like it seems like all you guys are into collecting something.
I got a lot of the I got a decent amount of Funko Pops. A lot of people got a lot of the Funko Pops. I got a lot of the old McDonald's premiums, like the '92 Looney Tunes Halloween ones, where like Bugs was Super Bugs. And
That stuff's probably worth a ton of
Yeah.
money. I bet that's well for the right person. To you, maybe.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Well, Seth, I might come back and grab some pictures here of this tattoo later to kind of overlay in here. But thank you very much for your time. I appreciate
You're
it,
welcome.
man. Yeah. Anything else?
Thanks for
you
hanging
care to
out.
anything else you care to share, or how the people? Obviously, people can find you on Instagram. I'm sure if they want to look at your work.
Yeah, I'm Spidey Mo on Instagram. The end. Yeah.
The end. The end. Right on. All right. So, Tion.
Yeah.
Last name?
Gearnet.
Gearnet. And your shop?
I work at Next Level Studio.
Next Level Studio. So you are just an artist there? Or you
Yes,
just
I'm an artist.
Okay, not the owner of the shop?
No, I'm not.
No. Okay. So tell me a little bit about the shop.
Shop. Well, it's a barbershop and tattoo shop kind of combined.
You got a good clean cut, man.
I do my own haircuts.
Oh, you do your own haircuts? Okay.
Yeah, a little difficult around the back, but yeah, I should probably take advantage of the barber shop.
Yeah, heck yeah.
For sure.
So barber tattoo, how many artists, how many barbers?
There is 4 artists. One is an apprentice.
Okay.
Marco is his name. The owner, his name's Luis, or he goes by Looter.
Okay.
He's a realism specialist.
Okay.
He's been doing it about 16 years. He's real good.
Wow. And you're the only one that made it to Euphoric Ink Art Show this weekend.
Yes.
Okay, how did that come to be? How did you get hooked up with Cole or Trevor, or how did that come to be?
Oh, well, actually, Shannon from Shannon Marie Art. She's the one who knows everybody around here, and she's kind of invited me to all these. So
Okay.
that's how I found out.
Okay, so you just word of mouth.
Yep.
Word of mouth. Yep, that's how it works. So how long have you been doing it?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Did you apprentice at the shop you're working at?
Yep.
Okay, so now you're kind of just working in your thing. And what do you do for style? Like, what do you mainly focus on?
I like the fine line stuff. Anything nature.
Anything nature. We got this
Yeah,
wolf here. That's sick. So what kind of pieces
Flowers
did you work on this weekend?
A lot of flash, a lot of just kind of cheap stuff that you get at a flash event.
Nice. Did you do all walk-ins this weekend then?
Yeah, all
nice.
walk-ins.
And you were very busy.
Yeah, I was super busy.
It seemed like everybody, we talked about this too, like everybody who wanted work this weekend probably got plenty of work.
Oh yeah.
Obviously we're near the end of it here on Sunday afternoon. It's clearing out. Like lots of people, there's quite a few people that I think didn't even come in and work today, it looked like. But so yeah, well what else do you want the people to know about you or your shop, or how they can get a hold of you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's As Above Tattoo, and Facebook As Above Tattoos.
As Above?
Yep, As Above.
Okay,
Yep.
cool, awesome.
Yeah, nice talking to you, man.
Tion, very nice talking with you, man.
Have a good one.
Come say hi to us in Fergus Falls sometime if you ever
for
come.
sure.
Come stop by the Beehive. So,
all right, thank you.
Yeah, we stepped away into the quietness for this one. So I'm excited. I got Nick Armstrong. I met you last night out at the bar. We did have a good time. It was fun. Fun was had.
I think
at downtown St. Cloud last night.
Stole a pizza pan from.
Stole a pizza pan. So you potentially traveled the furthest of anyone to come to this show. I don't think anybody else came further than Chicago.
Oh, my booth partner came from Cleveland.
Cleveland.
She's further than me.
So how do you get hooked up with something like this in St. Cloud from Chicago or Cleveland?
I've been traveling tattooing since 2017.
Okay.
I have ADD real bad and I can't sit still, and I'm a big believer in don't say no to an opportunity. So it's kind of pushed me into the convention world really hard. When I started doing them, I think I did like 5 my first year. Last year I did 32.
32?
Yeah.
Dang, and there's only 52 weeks in the year, so you're almost a full-time road guy.
Yep. I
Wow.
got little kids, so I do these on the weekends. Like I get to go be a dad without having anything intervene.
So I'm kind of new to the tattoo world. I'm not an artist, but I'm kind of. How does the licensing work then? If you're in Illinois, coming to Minnesota, or coming, how does that work?
Every state is different, and even like some states like Texas, it's on like a county to county basis. You'll get a lot of conventions though that are on like native land or reservation land.
Okay.
Because they don't have any health departments there. So like, up in Cloquet at Black Bear, they do a lot of conventions up there and shit for that exact reason. Otherwise, every state does temporary licensing. You just have to jump through the hoops, basically.
Okay.
And be on the ball a little bit with like the clerical side of things.
Yep.
So it's kind of a lot. I overplan everything. So between flights and hotels and fucking getting all the arrangements and shit, it is kind of time consuming. So it's hard to work during the fucking week when you're trying to line up the next 5
So do you
things.
do shows all around the country then? You try to go like all around the country for them?
Yep.
What's your next one?
Chicago's next weekend.
Chicago's next weekend. How big is that?
It's either the second or the third biggest in the world right now.
Wow.
It's usually between 900 and 1,000 booths.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was talking with the guy from Black Coffin about the intimacy, or like there's an inflection point in shows where you know the size and the amount of foot traffic through, kind of like you get the intimacy with the show rather than just getting lost in the numbers. But it would be really, really cool to see one of those huge shows.
It's cool. Philly's the one to go to. It's
okay.
the biggest in the world. It's been going on since like the 80s, and like I think it's like 1,200, 1,300 booths, and it's the epicenter of the tattoo world. So if you want to be relevant, you have to be at these events, and like the big ones that's where all the big companies go. That's when you find the new products, and all that stuff happens there.
So being a guy who does a lot of conventions, do you have a style? Do you do a lot of walk-ins?
Yeah. I go by Neo Trash Nick is my Instagram.
Neo Trash Nick.
Yeah,
So what's Neo Trash?
I do neo traditional tattoos.
Okay.
And one of my realism buddies was bitching about losing to a neo trash piece like 8 years ago. He's like, screw this neo trash stuff. And like, my name's Nick. It's hard to come up with anything that rhymes with it or a nickname. So it was like, oh, what did you say? That's what I've gone by ever since then. I feel with tattooing, branding is extremely important. A lot of artists don't acknowledge that what we do is a brand, and you have to treat it like such. So when you go by a name, all your photos on Instagram, social media and stuff, it needs to be uniform and consistent. And once you start doing that, then people that are looking for that style will take it seriously.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how I got my name, and the neo trad stuff. I nerded out on it. I wanted to be the best, so I got really into traveling and being in conventions so I could sit next to the people that I looked up to.
Oh yeah.
Because it gives you way more accountability when you're doing a tattoo next to somebody that you fucking love their work. You're going to do way better than if you were sitting at your home shop when not really. I don't want to say you don't care as much, but it puts pressure on you.
Yeah.
I'm a big comfort, or growth never comes from a place of comfort. So these things are awesome for that, especially for younger artists.
So what are some of the bigger pieces you did this weekend here? Or what are the
I didn't really do.
What stands out to you this weekend that you did, I guess?
I did a really cool little crab skull yesterday.
Okay.
I didn't get a picture of it. I'm terrible with that.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Most of the time when I do these, I'll try and book like one appointment for each day, like right out of the gate, and then I just put my flash out on the table.
So who did you know that got you hooked up with this event? Did Cole reach out to you?
No. I met Cole. He got tattooed at another convention in Houston that I was with. My friend Keith, and Keith tattooed him. Dude, Cole actually flew down to Houston and hung out with us that weekend.
Okay.
And that was how I met him.
And now you're hooked up here. Okay, cool. Well, it was really, really nice to meet you, Nick. Anything, or talk to me about the shop in Chicago when you are in the shop, because you don't spend a lot of time there, but.
I've owned 3 different shops, and I've closed them all, and I don't like being a shop owner as an artist because it just takes away all my energy.
So you don't own a shop? You're just a roamer.
Yeah.
You're a artist with no home. That is cool. That is very unique then. I suppose there's probably not a lot of guys like you that are just convention only artists.
I mean, there's a group of us. We call it Family Row.
Family Row?
Yeah, because we always end up together. And when you do it as many as I do, you see the familiar faces and stuff.
I love that.
Especially the artists that take a lot of pride in their work, where we all kind of gravitate towards each other because hang out with 5 crackheads, they're going to be the 5th. So
do you do guest spots then too? When you go do guest spots at other people's shops?
I'm actually going to a Garrett shop tomorrow to tattoo there.
Cool. Awesome.
So I don't know. Tattooing leaves it completely up to you and how ambitious you want to be and what you want to accomplish with it. That's one of my favorite things about it. It's a tool.
Yeah.
A lot of tattoo artists try and make it their identity. I'm not that. I view this as a job, and I treat it as such. So I'm always on time. I'm always prepared. I treat these as we're here to work.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen me. Like I'm one of the last people here.
Right.
One of the first people in the morning.
Yep.
I drink and shit too, but this is why we're here.
Right.
So that's my approach to conventions. And I've done really well with that, through the years. And a lot of people know my name just because I've been around. And
So,
often.
on Instagram, Neo Trash Nick.
Yeah.
That's how they find you.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, it's really nice to meet
too,
you.
man.
We'll see you around. We'll stay in touch. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll get you. Maybe if you want to come hang out in Fergus Falls ever, come spend a couple days at the Beehive. We'd love to have you. So
I'm doing a show at Fargo in July. So
okay,
I'll be back up this way.
I'm sure that I would assume Sam will be probably at that Fargo show too. So maybe I'll see you there.
Oh yeah, man.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Nice chatting. So now we've got the man. One of the most genuinely kind people I've met this
Thank
weekend.
you.
I really appreciate your energy. This is awesome. We've got it's not Health Studios and Tattoo.
Right.
It's Heath.
Yep.
So Ryan Heath.
Yep.
From Austin, Minnesota.
Yep.
So tell me about it. You have a cool story that you're basically flying solo. You're just a one-man show.
I've been flying solo since my apprenticeship, actually. So my apprenticeship was with a guy that wasn't traditional. He just wanted somebody to share rent with. And I already knew how to tattoo because I taught myself in my basement a little bit. I was one of those guys. But I kind of did what I had to do, so I started teaching myself. And when I started 10 years ago, it was only 10 years ago, but there was no YouTube, there was no tutorials, there was no Instagram Reels, there was none of that. So it was all like a lot of trial and error. Couldn't get into shops, but my guy, when I finally got into a shop, he basically just wanted somebody to share rent with. So I wasn't taught a whole lot in that apprenticeship. But I got in enough hours that when we parted ways, I had enough hours to get my license. So then I kept that same location in that little strip mall and just relicensed it in my name. So I've been running solo for 9 years since day one.
Self-taught.
Yep.
And that's a very different. We talked about this a little bit. It's a very difficult thing to do with your career, and like you, I can tell how excited you are. You thrive on like being in situations like this where you get to collaborate or see or get a little bit of advice from other artists or have people like kind of critique your
There's
work.
even like goosebumps, man. I love that stuff. This vibe, I float all weekend because these are my people. This is who I feed off of. The other artist thing. So I don't have that at home because I am solo. So I keep raising my bar, but it's because I don't have anybody next to me to feed off of, which I think is a good reason that I push so hard. But I also, that's why I do these, is for that feed and that vibe off other artists. And I float and I feel like it's just a sense of, honestly, acceptance by everybody else here. And it's a huge confidence boost for me to walk into this, running solo, and then getting to meet people and seeing old faces, other artists that I've gotten to know over the last year or two. And that acceptance is big for me. And that's a huge boost for me that makes me want to do better. I come here and see beautiful art that inspires me. That's not a contest. That's not there is enough work to go around. There's enough art to go around, and that's what it's all about. And that's the reason I come to these. Main reason is for people like that want to talk about the art, that want to motivate each other, that want to support each other. That's why I'm here. I'm a team player. I want everybody to win.
I love it.
I love what I do. I love my job. I even talk to the state. Like, we're on good terms. I tell them, I was like, I'll check every box you tell me to do. Like, I'll do it. Like, I'm not skirting anything. I love what I do, and I want to do it right.
As somebody who kind of self-taught, you fall into your own style. Do you have like you just kind of do the work that people, obviously being a one-man shop, you do the work that people come in and want done.
Yep. So over the years, it started, what it started is that I when you first start tattooing, you're horrible. You suck. You are so bad. And I hated my line work. So that was the one thing I worked on the most, was my line work. So now what I'm known for is my line work, my super clean lines. And I think because I didn't have anybody next to me to base how I'm doing off of, I just kept raising the bar and trying to be better and better. So now what people come to me for is the line work. And I love those clean lines. I don't know if it's some ADD brain or OCD, but I love that the clean lines, I can disappear in a mandala for a day and just have fun doing it. But I do think what you were talking about was developing my own style, because I didn't have that influence from other artists daily. So it did take its own course, and I do think that my style is different, and I do think that that's a huge thing that I appreciate, is that's what I built. Yeah, it's a big deal, and part of me wishes I had a normal apprenticeship, because I would have learned so many different things. but I don't think I would have developed my style
as
much as I did if I had that.
How big is Austin, Minnesota?
About 22,000 maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a decent size.
It's a decent size.
And you're certainly not the only artist in town then.
There's 3 other shops in town.
Okay.
There used to be 4 other shops. Somebody moved, but there's 4 shops in town, and each of them, there's 2 of them that have like 3 people at each one.
Okay.
I'm by myself, and one of the other ladies is by herself too.
Okay.
But there is more than enough business to go around. We are all busy. Everybody everywhere is busy.
Yeah,
it's not a contest, man.
Right.
Yeah,
The world is plentiful.
Yes,
The
very
world
much
is
so.
plentiful.
And since COVID, this industry has fucking boomed.
Yeah,
it's,
absolutely.
It's crazy. It's
I mean,
awesome.
We've seen it in Fergus Falls with, I want to say within the last year, I think we went from having, I don't know the exact numbers, but it feels like we went from having like probably 4 to 6 artists. All of a sudden, that number doubled in a year.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's still busy.
Everybody's
in
busy.
town, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yep. And it is,
yeah.
and as an artist and how you do in your quality of work and also the experience that you provide people, it makes a difference.
Right.
Like you want that repeat business, and my repeat business is huge, and I love that this industry is a repeat business.
Right.
It's not about grabbing your money today. It's about providing a quality product and an enjoyable experience, because then you'll come back every single time.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, it sounds like you're gonna have to come visit Fergus Falls.
Yeah.
You have to come hang out, and maybe if some people from Fergus are listening to this, maybe they can get a little work done by you or something.
Yeah.
I don't know how all this is going to come together.
Yeah.
I certainly enjoyed meeting people.
Yep.
Obviously, Sam loves collaborating with as many people.
That's awesome. I love hearing that.
Yeah,
because and I'll be honest, like small town USA too in Austin, it is kind of small town, 22,000, but there's still that small town vibe where it is a contest. So like Nate up in Fergus Falls, Dead-Eyed Nate, and like Sam, and like meeting other people. There's a couple other guys that I met, but it is about a community and about support and about motivating each other.
Yeah,
and we want to do good, and that's what I'm here for. And those are the people I want to meet. So coming up and like hanging out and collaborating, and like I want to learn from other artists, but I hope I have something to share.
Absolutely.
And I think in my experience, I bet you I did learn some things that most people didn't because of how I learned.
Right, because you were forced to or have insight on just like so much stuff.
Yeah. I love what I do. I can't imagine that I'll never be done learning. There's so many new styles coming out, and there's stuff that I don't know that I've learned from a 2-year tattoo artist that I've learned. That's why I want to go into those other shops and meet other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to interacting with you in the future, whether it be at other shows or coming in to see the shop. So
all of that.
Yeah, man.
All of that, definitely.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
all
you for the chat. Thank you for the chat,
100%.
man. I'm excited. This is going to be kind of the cap off of the weekend.
weekend.
I've been busy. I don't know the exact count of people that I got to talk to this weekend, but it was a lot. I talked to a lot of cool artists, met a lot of different personalities. So I'm really excited. I didn't know who you were at all before this weekend. So I was like, I think I'm not a tattoo guy. I'm just kind of one of Sam's friends.
Yep.
And so I thought it was really, really cool to like, oh, the Scotty guy's here. Apparently he's really good. So like checking out his work, and I was like, he's really, really good. So,
thank you.
Thank you very much for taking the time to sit down with us here and invite us into
Not a problem. Stoked you guys
beautiful
could
shop.
see it. Yeah.
So we'll talk about the weekend a little bit, but tell me just a little bit about your background. How'd you get into tattooing?
Yeah, so I started about around 25 years.
Okay.
24 maybe. Started getting tattooed heavily. I had like a sleeve before I was even a tattoo artist, and would always bring my drawings to a shop. And one shop in particular, but I'd bring them in, and like the guys would always make a comment like, dude, why aren't you a tattooer? You can draw better than most of us. And I took it as a compliment, but I was like, no way. I always love how you guys change my drawings. So, and I grew up real religious setting too.
Okay.
So it was like, oh, this is scary crap. Like these guys are always talking about drugs and like motorcycles and like just fights and all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't mix with that very well. So I love tattoos, but I didn't mix with the culture. And then eventually I was
That's
like,
interesting because you guys have such a cool feeling in here. Like, there's an energy in this place that is like, it's almost like it feels like a spiritual place in here for sure. So
that's kind of how we see
absolutely.
it too.
So you were a little hesitant to get into that, just like the imaging of like church and all that. But that's interesting. You were a religious guy.
Yep.
Cool. And then
kind of got over that, and I was like, man, I'm either going to work in the factory the rest of my life, or I'm going to take a shot. No college degree, none of that. So just I took art classes in high school and loved it. Loved to draw, loved to paint, but never thought it would go anywhere. I wanted it to, but never thought it would go anywhere. So I was like, dude, you should start asking about the tattoo thing. So every time I get tattooed, a few questions like, how do you do it? How much does it cost? And then finally I went to a shop and they were like, dude, you either pay us $5,000 for an apprenticeship or sign a 5-year that you'll stay here and work for us for 5 years. And I was like, dude, I want to work here. That's no brainer. So signed it, started my apprenticeship. A month into it, answering the phones, talking to customers, the lead artist quit. And I came into work that day and the boss was like, hey man, he quit, so you start tomorrow. And I was like, dude, I haven't even picked up a tattoo machine yet. And he was like, well, you're going to do the tattoo on Brian tonight. We'll walk you through it. And tomorrow you start.
Oh
and
my gosh.
That was it. Like I wanted to quit every day for like a year. I couldn't figure it out. It was hard using coil machines back then too that ran like crap. Didn't know any better, and neither did the guys I worked with. And eventually, you start making progress and just stacking it. And then you're like, okay, I figured out a trick today. And then tomorrow that trick doesn't work and you want to quit again. And so tattooing back then was way more of a struggle.
What year was that when you started?
99 when I did my apprenticeship.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where was that again?
Cloud9 Tattoo, which is ironic because it was 2 blocks away from here.
Awesome.
Down the street, yeah.
Awesome.
It was a big reason why we wanted to get a shop downtown because I was like, it'd be cool to keep it going where I started.
Yeah. So how long were you with that shop?
I was there 5 years.
Okay.
Just over 5 years.
And then you started Old Town?
No, then I went to Wingnut Tattoo.
Wingnut.
And it was down in Anoka at the time. And I didn't want to be in Anoka, but they were like, we're getting a St. Cloud shop eventually. So, and eventually they did, and I got back up here. And after a while working there, the owner of Rising Phoenix died, and his wife kept it going. And eventually, like, I tattooed her a few times, and she was like, hey man, I'm thinking about getting a new start somewhere else. Do you want to buy the shop? And I was like, I just had a little girl. I was not ready to start a shop, but I was like, how much? And she was like, it's going to be fair. And it was fair. It was still a lot of money for me, but I was like, I'm going to do it. So I decided I was going to go for it. And I had a good clientele at that time. And then that shop, the Rising Phoenix, was a shop for 15 years already. It was a biker shop, but I was like, I can tattoo bikers. It pays my bills.
Yeah.
So bought it and hired a few more guys, and it just built up to like being one of the best shops around.
So obviously you've got like, you kind of like, nobody ever reaches the pinnacle. There's always like places to go, but like you've certainly like achieved a lot of success in the career as far as like being connected with people in the industry. Where did like, I guess, that breakthrough come for you in your career as far as like, was it one connection you made, all of a sudden you met somebody that just opened up a bunch of doors for you? Or
I think kind of where that stuff started was conventions actually. When I was working at Wingnut, we did a convention and I started bringing people out there to enter my work in the contest, and I was like, hey, I want an award. Like, let's try to win 2 next time. Yeah. And I'd bring more and more. And then it got to the point where I won like 30 awards at one show or something. And I was like, all right, I feel this, like it's moving, but I have like a crazy work ethic too. And like nothing's ever good enough for me. I'm always like, I want more. And it's not like tattoo competition doesn't mean everything, but as a young artist, it can boost you.
Yeah.
So, and now I take it with a grain of salt. I've talked to Sam like that. Like, it's just like, it's cool when you win, but it's not the end of the world when you lose too.
Right.
It's, after all, it's based on opinion in the end.
Right.
So it's like, but it does give you confidence to keep going and stuff. So I've always wanted more and more and more. And, you know, yeah, you make connections with other artists. You get to, back in the day, like 10 years ago, I tattooed almost just like, I'm not tattooing hardly anybody except tattoo artists and piercers. And so you make a little name that way, and like that keeps growing, and then you start painting, and you got a goal to have one of your paintings in every tattooer station.
Right.
And that's a lofty goal, but that's just how I think. It's just like, dude, I want more. I want more. I want more. It's kind of like, I don't know, a sickness in a way. Like, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
But I've learned to get better at all of that and be able to relax too and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Or before it was just run. My hair's on fire.
Yeah.
But now I can settle down, and it's, I don't know, I just cherish it so much more than I used to. It was just so much work back then, but now it's like, I can relax and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
and you've worked on some big names too.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You did Stefan Diggs tattoos.
Yeah, a lot of his tattoos, like a lot.
Yeah, awesome. So how did you get into that?
Right.
Like,
okay.
Because
So
that's a
somebody
must have said this guy, or obviously,
right.
I think what it comes down to is your art first off, your art has to speak for itself. Yep. Like your art has to be so good that was what opens the doors for you.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So I have a friend, I call him my agent, because
My agent.
he's the guy that connects me with so many people, and he's that for many people. But so I tattooed him like crazy, and he worked at a club in Minneapolis at the time, and his name's Ryan. And Ryan would be like, dude, do you want to tattoo any basketball players? And I'm like, sure, dude. Like thinking like, yeah, how are you going to work that out? Well, pretty soon I'd get a text from a Minnesota Timberwolf, and it was like, oh, he wants to sleep. Yeah, I'll do it. So I start tattooing him. And then, like you said, it goes like wildfire, because the other guys on the team are like, where'd you get it? Oh, damn, that's really good. I'm going to do it.
All right.
Pretty soon you're tattooing the squad. Same thing happened with the Vikings. Now Ryan's working with the Vikings on something, and he's like, hey, you want to tattoo Stefan Diggs? I'm like, who's Stefan Diggs? He's like, it's a Vikings player, dude. He's going to be a star. And I'm like, oh, send him up. So I started tattooing him. I started tattooing Kyle Rudolph, Everson Griffin, Jerick McKinnon. It goes on and on and on like that way. But it's just meet one of them, do a good job on it. And if you want to do that, you can do it. But it's also a lot of jumping through hoops with those guys too. And you get a text in the middle of the day saying, hey, bro, can I get in tomorrow? And it's like, well, I got an appointment tomorrow. And hey, tell your appointment I'll give them a signed football if they bump. So I'm like, hey, man, do you want to sign football? And often my clients would accommodate. But, you know, it goes with its own set of challenges. So
for sure.
I'm not like focused as much on that anymore, because I did it and it was fun and kind of felt
so what's your focus now?
I just love my clients. Like, I like the guy that works hard at his job and wants a cool piece. That's who I want to tattoo. But, you know, for a season, it was like, oh, I can tattoo a pro football player? Hell yeah. I think one thing that was super cool for me was seeing my tattoos in a NBA 2K game.
What? They actually put them, they actually program them that much detail into the games?
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the players I was tattooing was like, yeah, bro, I did a photo session with NBA 2K today. I was like, what? But they do a full body scan of these guys, and I could zoom in and see my tattoos in a video game. I was like, boom.
Super cool.
Super cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the convention this weekend. Have you been at this one for all 3 years? Or
I had not worked it yet. They've been asking me, but it seemed like there was conflict every year. We were out of town or something. And so this was the first year. I was stoked that they were moving it down here.
Right.
Because it's like so close to the shop.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So, you know, I heard rumors like, oh, it was kind of slow and this and that. But I was like, dude, they do a lot of advertising. It's close to the shop. Let's do it.
Right.
So we did it. And I absolutely loved the vibe of it. It was just low key, chill, and busy enough that everybody seemed to stay busy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, loved it.
Yeah.
The guys are super humble, super cool. Seem like they know what they're doing. So
no, I have nothing to judge it off of, it being my first convention.
Sure.
But the variety was really wide. Like there was a super wide variety of
Right.
work and artists. So, yeah.
And Sam and myself have both worked a lot of big shows all over the place. But there's something to be said for a local little show that's not like got crazy egos at it. Like you can talk to every booth and you know, it's pretty cool. So I enjoy it still. Yeah.
And you worked on a Chucky piece the first day. You had a super cool walleye.
Yeah,
that won tattoo of the day on Saturday, and
For
then
Black and Gray,
for Black and Gray, and then the piece that won today was a little doll,
a little clown head,
a little clown head,
a girl clown,
girl clown,
for Black and Gray,
all phenomenal work. So certainly. That's not really what you do. A lot of Black and Gray.
It's not the style I'm known for, but I love it, and I do a fair amount here, but I don't like promote that. Like when you go through my book, it's gonna be the stuff I'm more known for.
And what is that?
It's illustrative, I guess, or some people call it new school.
Okay.
I call it illustrative or pop surrealism.
Yeah.
Kinda.
The tooth.
So,
you said the tooth. The tooth is your signature.
I would say most people know me by the tooth.
The tooth. I love that.
Little tooth character that I do. So yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you sitting down and chatting. Anything else you want? Obviously, you've got your cutting hair in here.
Yep,
we've got some
hair.
other artists.
Kitty does hair here.
Yeah.
Yep, we've got two other artists, Emily and Benny. It's stoked on this crew, stoked on our space. It's just something we wanted to do in downtown St. Cloud, like kind of try to help create an art community down here, and it's building more and more and more. So yeah, we're stoked to be here.
Yeah, I loved it. I had a fun weekend. I'm looking forward to doing more of these. So.
Right on. Yeah. Had to be a good one for you. Yeah.
It was. I was just running around. I had a good time partying last night, and
heck yeah.
Yeah, I met more people than I can keep track of, so I'm excited to unpack it.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
For
cool.
sure.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me on that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, dude.